Hey guys, I'm Jim. I edit photos. Today I'm in Luminar AI and I'm doing a monochrome. I haven't done one in a while and I thought it'd be kind of fun to go back and do that. I'll take a lot of photos when I travel, and this is a travel photo from France from a number of years ago. And I'm always looking for color, and I love my colors. If you've seen my videos, you know that. But there are some scenes that just kind of scream black and white, and like I said, I haven't done one in a while. Thought I would do that. So here's the photo. This is Chateau Chambord in the Loire Valley. My French pronunciation is terrible. So anyway, if you've been there, you know it's gorgeous and fantastic and beautiful and photogenic. But as you can see, it was a bit of an overcast day, very cloudy. And while I love my big colors, as I said, and as you may have witnessed in previous videos, some scenes just really look good in monochrome. This is, I think, one of them. Now, prior to having started this video, I already used Composition AI and Erase to make a few adjustments. If I go like that, you can see the before and the after. So I straightened the verticals, I straightened the photo, I cropped it 16:9, took out a few spots. Don't know if I got all the spots, but this is not a spot removal video. This is a monochrome conversion video. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on that. Black and white, first thing I wanna do is convert it to black and white. And because I will often do that as the first step when I know I'm gonna make a black and white or monochrome, I'll go ahead and use the black and white filter and just hit it and get that going. And as a quick pause or an aside, one of the things I really like about black and whites is that you can really push the sliders and kind of do really dramatic stuff and kind of get away with it, for lack of a better word. Like if you do really colorful stuff, really saturated, lots of detail, kind of an over-the-top kind of color edit, people will often kind of barf on it and be like, you know, clown vomit, too much color, that's not realistic, it didn't look like that. But if you do the same thing, but take away the color, people are like, wow, dramatic monochrome, fantastic, I love it. So it's kind of fun, especially for someone like me that really likes to push the pixels around. You can basically get away with a more heavy-handed edit with a monochrome than you can with a color photo. So anyway, there we go. My photo is now black and white, and because it's fairly dark, often when I have dark photos, I will start with Enhance AI and just drag that until I get it where I like it. In this case, I like it at 100, to be honest, and I'm going to take Sky Enhancer to 100 as well. And honestly, I mean, like, hey, my photo's done. Now, it's not, because there's a lot of other things I want to do to it, but when you have a really dark photo and you know, kind of want a little bit of drama, and especially cloudy days like that, you can just kind of bump these two tools. You know, again, if you're starting with a fairly dark photo, you can bump these tools all the way, and honestly, it looks pretty good to me, I think. So that's my first move on a dark photo, is Enhance AI. And now I'm going to go into the Light tool, and I'm just going to do very minor moves here. I'm going to do Smart Contrast of about 20, and I'm going to go into the Curves tool, and I'm going to do a slight S-curve. So a little bit there, and then like 3 little points here. And they're pretty minor. It's just adding a little bit of drama to the photo, and that does create a little bit more contrast and a little bit more darkness, which, you know, kind of undid whatever, some of what I did with Enhance AI, but that's okay. We're going to continue playing with this. I'm going to now go into Structure AI, and here I want to do negative structure, which you've probably seen me do in previous videos if you've been here before. So I'm pretty negative, like about -75, but I'm going to come in and erase that from the chateau itself and the grounds and the reflections, because I want to keep visibility into those, keep the detail there looking pretty good, and all I want to do is soften up the sky and the water. So let me go ahead and do this, and then I'll jump into the next part of the edit. Okay, so there we go. I've erased the mask from all the areas that I talked about. I basically wanted this negative structure in the sky and the water. And one of the reasons I took a moment to be a little bit more precise is because I want to use that mask again. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that mask, and I'm going to click on those 3 dots and then click on copy. And now I'm going to go to the details filter, and I'm going to add a little bit of medium and large details, and all I want to do is put that into the areas that I had erased on the other one. So I'm going to paste this mask, and now that mask is now applying to the sky, which I don't want, so of course I need to invert it. And so if I click the / key to show you the mask, you can see that I copied and pasted the mask, which was applying to the sky and water, and then I inverted it here, which makes it now apply just to these structures and the reflection. So these details that I've enhanced here are just applying where I want them. And again, that's why I was fairly specific about what I did with the mask in the structure tool, because I knew I was going to recycle it. Okay, now that I'm finished there, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm loving the update to AI here where you have all the tools or filters lined up. It's kind of fun. It just makes it easier, to be honest. So I'm going to go, I'm going to go dramatic. I'm going to go about a 20 here, and I'm going to go ahead and bump up local contrast to 100. And then while I'm over here, I'm going to get a little bit of mystical, and I'm going to do about a 30 on mystical, but I'm going to bump up the shadows to about 80 because I don't want to get the photo looking too dark. I just want to add a little bit of that mood, and mood may not be the right word because there's a mood filter, but I use the word mood a lot when describing mystical simply because it adds a little bit of mood. I like to think of it as kind of a romantic lighting. It works great on photos around the edges of the day when there's some shadow, and it kind of helps accentuate that, or in lower light like this. So I just like the look of it. There it is before and after. Fairly subtle, but the reason it looks kind of subtle is because I bumped up the shadows so much. Now I'm going to pop over here to toning, and this was also redone. I talked about it in my Luminar AI update video, but slightly different look to the toning tool or filter, also known as split toning. But I'm clicked on shadows, and I'm going to go to about a 13 here and about a 240 on the hue, which puts it kind of in the blue realm. And then for highlights, I'm going to do about a 25 on saturation, and I'm going to do about a 235 on the hue, again also kind of in the blue. All I'm doing here is basically changing it from a pure black and white to a bit, I guess what would really be called a monochrome, but a little bit of a silvery tint to it. I just like that look a lot with my monochrome. So there it is as a pure black and white. And now I've added a little bit of that silvery kind of blue tint by using split toning. It just creates, to me, a slightly different look to a monochrome that I just happen to like. It's completely personal preference. There's no reason to do this other than just purely artistic preference, which is what it is for me. Just something I do on pretty much all my monochromes simply because I like it. I think of it as like a silvery moonlight kind of look. Again, just something I like. And now I'm going to pop down to professional and go to super contrast. And I'm going to skip the highlights. In midtones, I'm going to go to about 25. And shadows, I'm going to go right to about 50. But I'm going to take the balance kind of a little bit left. And so as you see, as I'm doing that, it's basically putting more contrast in the shadows, which is basically brightening the dark areas. So I'm going to do maybe like a negative 30 there. But you can see what super contrast did for my photo. There it is before super contrast, a little bit darker in some of those more shadowed areas like the roof and the reflection, and now a little bit brighter there. So super contrast is really powerful, has a lot of impact on the photo because you can isolate contrast in the different areas. And of course, contrast is the difference between the dark parts and the bright parts. So on a photo like this, where it was a little bit too dark in some of those shadowed areas, using shadow contrast and adjusting the balance really helped me get that looking just the way I wanted it to look. And that is my full edit, folks. Let me show you the before and after. Now this includes some of the vertical correction and the straightening that happened. So you can see it was a little bit tilted and it was a little bit leaning back, even though I shot this from a distance, but I pretty much straightened that up quite a bit. And if I do the full before and after, you can see kind of blah color, kind of a little bit dark, kind of muted look, and just kind of overall, like I like the photo, but it just obviously needs a bit of work. And I think as a monochrome with the different things I did around the contrast and the brightness and the different things that I did there, I think it really just pops now. And that was really what I wanted to do, is just a kind of a quick, easy, but powerful monochrome edit that really kind of makes this thing jump off the page. And for me, from that to that, really jumps off the page. And that's it, my friends. Quick, easy, powerful. That's the fun of Luminar AI, where you can do really stunning monochromes. I'll be back with more soon. Thanks for watching. Have fun editing out there. I'll see you in the next video, my friends, and adios.